Well, I think when we look at the conduct of foreign policy and the way in which states deal with other states, nothing much has changed in terms of the priorities and the prerogatives of nation states and governments. But of course, the advent of technology, and in particular social media, and the way in which it is a tool, it has been used as a tool of soft power by some states, presents us with what may well be a challenge or a problem that weaker states, or states that have less of a technological advantage, will have to deal with. Now, this is not new, because historically, of course, states have always attempted to influence the politics of other states. And if you look at our region in particular, Southeast Asia, in the 19th century, Southeast Asia experienced colonization, and through colonization, the political economies of the native kingdoms of Southeast Asia were radically altered to suit the ends and the needs of colonial capitalism. Now, part and parcel of that process of colonization included soft power, the use of media, the use of education, colonial education, to change, alter, perhaps even distort the socioeconomic realities of Southeast Asians. What we are seeing today is really, a perpetuation of the same kind of contestational politics that we in Southeast Asia ought to be familiar with by now, except that social media has an enormous power that many states are not able to fully comprehend or appreciate. And I think this is the challenge that we face today, because in so many ways, Southeast Asia still suffers from the technological gap of the 19th century. One of the reasons why colonization was successful in our part of the world is that by the 19th century, Southeast Asian states and Southeast Asian societies could no longer match the technological prowess of the Western colonial powers. And that technological gap remains with us until today. If we look at the developing South, from the period of post-colonization onwards until today, many developing countries are still trying very hard to catch up in the technological race, and we are losing out. We are losing out to countries that have invested much, much more in terms of education in science, technology, and what have you, and this gives them an advantage which is almost undeniable. And I think this will be one of the biggest challenges that we in Southeast Asia face today. Can we, in the 21st century, close this technological gap that we suffer from, that keeps us in a position of dependency and relative powerlessness vis-a-vis the more powerful countries in the world and the emerging new powers in the world?